Hello and welcome. This is a guide to duo/trio Saradomin guide. This is now become quite a popular boss, and me and Carl noticed, as you can see below, noticed that there weren't too many guides, so we thought we could make an in-depth guide for you guys so that you know exactly what to do when you decide to do Saradomin. Okay, this is the minimum requirements for getting to and killing Saradomin if you plan to do trioing. These are actually not recommended if you want to actually make money. It's just for a bit of fun and you want to try it out for the first time, maybe get more comfortable with it. So it's 70 agility. This is required for getting into the Saradomin stronghold and getting kill count and getting to the boss. Troll stronghold, you need to have killed Dad, in this part of the quest. In that part of the quest to unlock that area of the map. You need 50 defense. Well, you don't need it, but if you don't have 50 defense, you'd only really have a chance if you were going in a mass to kill Saradomin, and you'd still have trouble getting kill count, which should be difficult as well. So I strongly recommend having at least 50 defense, so you can use Batwing armor. 60 magic is just there so you can use a master wand, and the reason you're using a wand is so you can use a shield so you can last longer at Saradomin. This is not advised for high level setups, it is purely for this minimum level setup, so that you can last longer using defensive abilities such as resonance to heal yourself and invulnerability. 37 prayer is the requirement to use protect magic in the normal prayer book, because Saradomin frequently uses magic attacks and it is extremely useful to be able to protect from them. Okay, and on to the next slide, the low level setup. This is, as you've seen before, with the requirements that I had there. Vampirism, just so that you can get that extra health. It gives you 5% of all damage you do. Zamorak Cape, this is a God Wars cape, it's not an obsidian cape, even though they do look identical. The Saradomin arrow is for protection against Saradomin creatures, and the God cape is Zamorak for that reason as well, so it protects against Zamorak creatures, so that they are unaggressive anyway. Okay, Batwing is level 50 defense. It is also 50 magic, but I have got 60 magic so that you can use a Master Wand. This currently costs about 2 mil. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure how much it is in the GE, but it is extremely useful. I would be using a staff of some kind, but for this low level setup, I've decided that you will need a shield if you are to last there any large amount of time, so that shield is needed for defensive abilities. The Batwing armor is moderately good defense, as you can see, at 855, but this is not very good for in terms of defense, but it will suffice for killing Saradomin 2 or 3 times with a trio, which is not very good money per hour. I would not advise using this. This is just the absolute minimum for just trying to do it. It is not advised to do this as a money-making method if you have these levels, because it is extremely inefficient, because you almost spend more time getting kill count than you do in the boss room, because you cannot last that long at all with this sort of setup. Just one super set, super magic, super defense, and prayer renewal with prayer pots and teleport tablets vital if you're using this setup. It is quite dangerous when using this setup. Okay, these should be monkfish, not sharks. For some reason or another, the inventory is wrong. And also, I did forget to put in water and air runes. You should need about 1k of them. Okay, 75 magic. Okay, this is so you can use a polypore staff and Ganadothic armor. So is this. Edgar's ruse is so that you can teleport to Trollheim. This greatly reduces the amount of time it takes to get to the Goggles dungeon and increases the money per hour. The 67 summoning is for a tortoise so you can carry more food and increase trip time and the amount of kills you can get per trip. 70 prayer is so that you can increase your magic attack, strength, and your defense through the augury prayer while also using protect from magic. The Lumbridge Hard Diaries are there so that you can use an Explorer's Ring to alch all of the alchable drops that you get, such as adamant plate bodies, rune plate skirts, and rune kai shields. Okay, this is the setup that I've devised using the requirements I've put in the mid-level in the last slide. As you can see here, fairly standard inventory for the tortoise, just sharks, but that's because there's not very many sharks in the actual inventory. There are 4 supersets, there are 5 prayer pots, there are spells which you're going to use for water surge or water blast or whatever, the highest water spell you can use, because that will work best. As you can see, the defense here is at 2.2k, which is much higher than the 885 that there was beforehand with the Batwing armor. This greatly increases the trip time and the number of kills you can do per trip. This is extremely helpful for increasing your money per hour. You've got the supersets here. Obviously, that increases your money per hour by decreasing kill time. You need less prayer pots than you would have thought, because your prayer renewals heal you in between, restore your prayer in between kills, and you can also use the altar, which saves you a lot of prayer. You can also reduce that number again by using a Soul Wars cape, which means that if you have subjugation robes, which give you a prayer bonus as well, it means that you do not have to use any prayer potions whatsoever. It is only required to bring 1 restore flask so that you can boost your summoning points to summon another familiar to continue the trip. These teleports are to get out. Obviously, if you have completed Love Story, you can change these to Trollheim tablets and then back again once you have made it into the waiting room. And you have this extra time, you can turn it back into home teleports, so that you don't have to, so that your grave doesn't appear outside Trollheim or something like that. And on to the next slide. Okay, now for the high level requirements. These are if you want to get maximum kills per hour and maximum money per hour. 96 Herbal for overloads. Obviously you need prayer renewals as well. 95 prayer for I can't remember what the actual curse is, but I will find out for you and mention it later. But it is the level 95 magic prayer. It boosts your magic strength, attack, and defense by a large percentage. 90 rune crafting and 90 prayer, as you can see here, are other requirements which are needed for Sea Singer armor. This is from the player-owned ports. This is from the player-owned ports, and it is good for defense, but not quite as good for damage. So I have devised 2 different setups, which will be displayed in the next slide. 93 Constitution is so that you can use Rock's Tails. Otherwise, they do not heal you as much. 90 magic is purely for damage per second. This can, if you have 85 magic, anything as low as 75 magic doesn't really matter because you will actually need 85 magic for the Sea Singer armor, and you will still need 80 magic if you're using Virtus armor. 88 summoning is for a Unicorn Stallion. This is extremely helpful, increases your trip times, and you can actually use this in combination with a tortoise, so you can use up all your food, and then once you've used up all your food from your familiar, you can summon a unicorn and start using that. This is the longest way of lasting at Saradomin with familiars. Okay, the Love Story quest, as I mentioned earlier, will allow you to use Trollheim tablets. These are not immediately unlocked after upon completion of the quest, so I will show you later how to unlock them after completing the quest. Okay, this is the tank with the Sea Singer armor that you get from the player room ports, and it's got a chaotic staff. So this is if you have a high enough dungeoneering level, a chaotic staff is highly recommended. Obviously, this can be swapped out for a polypore staff, but obviously, since this is a max level setup, you can use. It's just showing the highest level stuff you can use. This is Greater Reverence, and this is Vampirism. Vampirism is used on the DPS setup because you will need to worry about your health more than you would on the tank setup. As you can see, the defense on the tank setup is 2855 and this is 2516. It may not seem like a large difference, but it does make a difference. The health points, maximum health points on this is 9012, and the max on this is 8160. That 1k damage could save you. It is also extremely helpful for the Unicorn Stallion because the Unicorn Stallion heals you based on your maximum health, and so the Unicorn Stallion is more helpful, obviously, the higher your max health. As you can see, it's got the Seer's Ring again, and again it's got the Saradomin arrow. For some reason, it is using. Carl has decided to screenshot both of these with a skill cape rather than with a Zamorak cape. But if you want to take the risk of getting attacked by Zamorak creatures, that is fine. And you can use such as a Soul Wars cape. I don't know why you would want to use a skill cape as Carl has shown here. The Arcane Stream Necklace, again, if you have the Dungeoneering points, you can use it. Otherwise, you can downgrade to a Saradomin Hiss, which will also protect you from Saradomin creatures. You could change this to a Zamorak Arrow, for instance, if you wanted to use a different cape, such as a Soul Wars cape. And here you've also got the Demon Horn Necklace, which is a dungeoneering item that requires 90 dungeoneering, I think, and it also requires a certain prayer level. I am not entirely sure. I will find out for you and put it in the description. And I will also mention the name of the curse, which the level 95 magic curse, which will help you. There is a Vampirism Scrimshaw in both. Okay, now I'm going to show you the method of getting to God Wars via the lodestone, as shown by the blue route, the Ring of Slaying, teleporting to the Relic Caves, shown by the purple route, and the two ways of teleporting to Trollheim via the runes that I used to cast a spell on the normal spell book. This is 2 fire runes and 2 lore runes, and a Trollheim tablet. I will also be showing you how to get the ability to use a Trollheim tablet after completing the Love Story quest. Okay, now we're going to start with the Burthorpe lodestone. it starts off in Berthorpe, then you run past into the area where you would be doing troll invasion. You keep running northwest until you come to a ramp. You then start to run north and around Death Plateau. You will be frequently hit by missiles after the point here, shown by the small gap in between the lines. Because that is a small obstacle. You will then run round, you will go up onto Death Plateau. If you are a low level, there is a good chance that the trolls will be aggressive to you, in which case you would be wanting to get up this gap fairly quickly. I have not mentioned the agility levels of any of these agility shortcuts. The reason being is they are all below 70, and if you are doing Saradomin, you should have 70 agility. You then go around here, and then there's another agility shortcut, and this requires requires rock climbing boots, and means that you will have one less space in your inventory for food, and will decrease the time of your trip. This is a disadvantage, and another reason why the Berthorpe Lodestone is not ideal for getting to God Wars, and it is advised to unlock the teleport to Trollheim or the Trollheim tablet. Anyway, after you've gone over this agility shortcut, there is another one, which means that the Ring of Slaying also requires a rock climbing boots to get to the God Wars dungeon, and for the same reason, these two methods are both at a disadvantage, even though the Ring of Slaying is ever so slightly faster. You will then go over another one and into the area that is occupied by Dad and his followers. This is the boss that you kill during the quest Troll Stronghold. You will then go into another room filled by trolls, and then into a dungeon filled by trolls. This is a U-shaped dungeon which curves on the east side, so that it looks like this, as I'm showing with my mouse. You then come out here, and you would meet with anybody who was doing the method of teleporting to Trollheim. You then follow on, and then there are some rock hurlers here, which will throw rocks at you, which is similar to if you were running around here, just that short area there, you get thrown at, and it's for some people it is advisable to pray against range, but I don't usually. Then you have to squeeze past the large boulder, which is in this area here. After that boulder, you'll be damaged by the bitter cold that is. You'll be damaged by bitter cold, and this is an effect which means that you lose all of your run, and your stats slowly decrease, and you slowly take damage over time. The amount of damage you take is minuscule, but there are also wolves in this area, and this means that you can take a lot of damage. It is advisable to pray melee in this area to avoid taking too much damage. Okay, you start off. I just started off in GE, teleported to Berthorpe, and then I just ran west and north a bit. I then ran all the way around Death Plateau, over the obstacle, of course, and then you go just up onto Death Plateau, and then in the northeastern part of Death Plateau, there's a large rock which you scale. Then you run northwest, and as you can see, I just jumped over a short wall. That requires rock climbing boots, by the way, so you do need that if you are using the lower level methods of getting to Trollheim. Obviously I just run past Dad, through the tunnel, and then all the way round to past Trollheim into the Gobbler's Dungeon. If you missed any of that, it will be going over again, and with the Ring of Slaying, you just run north a little bit, then you go up, and then you go over two obstacles which also require rock climbing boots, and you go past Dad again, and then it's exactly the same thing. So you go through the tunnel again, and then all the way. You can go back and watch the video if you missed earlier parts of getting to the point with Dad, for instance, because that it is going rather fast, and I do acknowledge that. But I didn't want to waste the time of those who didn't or who already knew how to get there, so I thought I'd just speed up the video. Again, you have to squeeze past the boulder because obviously I'm assuming you don't have 60 strength. Squeezing past is also faster, and I'm assuming you have 70 agility, otherwise you wouldn't be able to do Saradomin. But yeah, squeezing past is always faster. As you saw, I just used the Trollheim teleport on the normal spellbook to get there, and then I just used the Trollheim tablet, and it's exactly the same method, but you don't go over the highest obstacle. The reason being is it is actually slower to go over the obstacle than it is to run round the run round and go down the short ramp, and then run round the normal way, as if you were using the Trollheim teleport in the spellbook rather than the Trollheim tablet. Okay, after showing you how to get there, I am now in the Goblins dungeon, and you'll notice that even though I don't have a Bandos item of any kind, this ogre, which is a Bandos creature, is not attacking me. The reason is the square that you land on as soon as you have entered the dungeon, it makes all creatures unaggressive to you until you leave. Now, if you're going to Saradomin, you'll want to run east, and you click on the compass, it will point you north. So if you then turn 90 degrees, so your character should be facing to the right, and you can see this large altar-like thing, and you run to the east. And it's often useful to wait for your run to restore, because often you find that because of the snow, it reduces your run to a minimum. When you do the kill count, you will want to focus on the Saradomin Knights, and you'll also want to focus on the Spiritual Warriors. If you cannot kill the Spiritual Warriors, just wait for the Saradomin Knights to spawn. You do not want to attack the Saradomin Priests, and you certainly do not want to attack the Spiritual Mages or Spiritual Rangers. You can do if you have the Slayer level, but I would advise against it. Because killing spiritual warriors and Knights of Saradomin is the fastest way of getting kill count. Once you've completed kill count, you will want to run down the obstacles to the south, I believe, and into the Saradomin waiting room. And you just want to wait there for your companions, or if you're soloing for one reason or another, you can go in. But if you are duoing, you can wait for your partner. This is really not a very popular boss. You can often find that most often find that the world you're in is free. The only time you might have any trouble is if you're on at peak times, which is about 8 o'clock in the UK, and I believe about between 1 and 3 in the US, depending on where you are. Okay, so me and Morris went to this you can at the moment you can just see a sped up version of me and Morris getting kill count, and as you can see, it's a lot more difficult. Takes a lot more hits than you would do if you were using, for instance, a Polyball Staff and Water Surge, which I believe requires 85 Mage. But anyway, yeah, it's a lot slower. And it's a lot less efficient. It still works, as we've shown. I know that me and Morris both have much higher stats than you would do if you were doing this, but so instead, this is recommended for trioing instead of duoing, so that's why it's okay that there's two of us. It's sort of like trying to weigh it out a little bit. Anyway, we managed to kill it a few times, as you'll be able to see soon.
Was it 2.5? I think.
Yeah, 2.5 kills. One of them, there was only one of them I could time, because the first one I was a bit slow going into the room. But yeah, I did. There is a little annotation there which shows what we got. Anyway, I believe we're nearly done kill count by this point, so it should show it soon. Yeah, so we're nearly done kill count by this point. I remember I actually got a mage level when I was there, so that's cool.
Oh, you didn't tell them that.
No, I didn't, but I can. If you want, I can. I'll time the I'll see how much time it took, and I'll just put a little annotation on the screen to show you, tell you exactly how long it took to do kill count. Anyway, we're just showing each other our inventories, and I found out that I didn't bring enough water and air room, so he's giving me some. And now we're going into the boss room. And there we go. This bit is sped up 5 times. The kill count was sped up 10 times. That's why it seems like kill count was quite quick, whereas actually it was very slow. And now you can just see that we were using the method of basically we stood either side of the room at a sort of distance where if we kept using provoke, we could almost negate all damage of that Saradomin did to us, apart from the mage attacks that she did like while running towards us. But the melee attacks were reduced, and since we were playing mage, it made it a lot easier to kill Saradomin, not bandos. And I have to edit that out. Oh well. Anyway, so we did the first one, and that was really quite slow. I measured that time as something like 100 and something seconds. But the other one I've measured, and this is the timed one. As you can see, it's moderately fast, but it's definitely slower than doing it with Ganodermic or with Virtus or with Sea Singer. And we were using fairly standard abilities. We didn't. We made sure that we didn't use any abilities above level 60 magic, and yeah, you go. You saw the time. It's 93 seconds, and a little sad face for you as well. Yeah, so it took 93 seconds to kill it with Batwing. We were struggling for food at that point, and you'll see why after this kill. During this kill, Morris had to teleport out, and I was tanking it for a short while, but then I had to teleport out ultimately as well. So that was quite bad. So we only lasted 2 kills, and I think that is the main reason why Saradomin is not efficient for money making at this level. It is definitely advised. Would you say, Morris? It's definitely advised to get higher
Yeah.
levels. You need 75 magic and defense is
Oh yeah.
the point where it becomes good money, because then you can use Polypore and Ganodermic. Anyway, this is Saradomin, and you can see it's much more. You see how quick that was? Much quicker than the Batwing. But I didn't time that one because I was a bit late going into the boss room. So the next one is the one I timed. So it's spawned again, and you can see we're just using the provoke method, exactly the same as with the Batwing. And so it's fairly simple, but it works very well. So look, 46 seconds on that kill, very fast in comparison. Still quite slow considering our fastest time. Okay, yeah, and I was you only need 2 people really when you're doing it with a medium or high level setup. Like a high level setup, you can do it solo, but obviously you can't do the provoke method with solo, so it's not really advised. If you want to, you can do trio with medium, and this means you last there a lot longer. But I don't know, it might, or it's difficult to say that it is better or worse money, because of course you last there longer, but then how long does it realistically take for you to get there while doing kill count? It depends on how long it takes, because if you can do faster trips but with much more kills, it is much more efficient. Anyway, you can see there our best time was 36 seconds. We'll be making more guides shortly. Morris, I think you're probably going to make like a solo guide. Is that right?
Yeah, I
Make a
can do
solo
that.
guide. Yep, you can do a solo guide. And then we'll be doing other God Wars Boss duo guides and other God Wars Boss solo guides. We are also planning on doing other skilling guides. If you were looking for any guides in particular to bossing or skilling or quests or things like that, just leave a comment below. And if you like the video, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.